California stretches along the Pacific coast, a state of mountains, deserts, beaches, and sprawling cities. Earthquakes shake the ground. Wildfires burn through the hills. Droughts dry the reservoirs. People who live here are used to natural disasters. They prepare for them. They recover from them. But in 2024, something different started happening. Things that don't fit the pattern of natural events. Things that emergency responders can't explain. That local authorities acknowledge but won't investigate. And that news outlets briefly mention before moving on. Lock your doors. Put your headphones on. Because after this video, you'll realize California isn't just dealing with nature. It's dealing with something else. Mystery 1, the Mojave light patterns. The Mojave Desert is vast, empty, and dark at night. It's home to military bases, testing ranges, and long stretches of highway where you can drive for an hour without seeing another car. In March 2024, residents in the towns of Barstow, 29 Palms, and Ridgecrest started reporting lights in the sky. Not planes, not stars, not drones. Lights that moved in perfect geometric formations, triangles, grids, and straight lines, shifting positions in unison before vanishing completely. The sightings occurred almost nightly for 3 weeks. On March 17th, a trucker named Marcus Hale was driving eastbound on Interstate 40 near Ludlow when he saw a formation of 7 lights hovering above the desert. He pulled over, took out his phone, and recorded 90 seconds of footage. The lights were silent. They moved in synchronized patterns, forming a hexagon, then splitting into 2 rows, then converging back into a single column before disappearing. Marcus uploaded the video to social media. Within 48 hours, it had been viewed over 200,000 times. Dozens of people in the comments confirmed they had seen the same thing. Some included their own videos, all showing similar patterns. On March 22nd, the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office released a statement. They acknowledged receiving multiple reports of unusual aerial activity and stated they were looking into the matter. They suggested the lights could be military flares, drones, or atmospheric reflections, but residents weren't convinced. Military flares fall. Drones have sound. Atmospheric reflections don't move in formation. Then, on March 30th, something changed. A local news crew from a Barstow station drove out to the desert to film a segment on the lights. They set up their equipment around 9 p.m. and waited. Around 10:30 p.m., the lights appeared. The crew recorded nearly 4 minutes of footage, showing multiple lights moving in precise formations. But when they tried to broadcast the segment the next day, they were told by station management that the story was not approved for air. One of the cameramen, who requested anonymity, later told a podcast interviewer, "We had the footage. It was clear, it was undeniable, but someone decided it wasn't news." By mid-April, the sighting stopped. No explanation was ever provided. The sheriff's office never released a follow-up, and the footage from the news crew was never broadcast. When a journalist from a Los Angeles paper inquired about the investigation, the sheriff's office responded, "The matter has been resolved." Resolved how? No one would say. History 2. The synchronized hum in Pasadena. Pasadena is a quiet, residential city just outside Los Angeles. Tree-lined streets, historic homes, a peaceful suburban feel. But in June 2024, residents in the neighborhoods of Bungalow Heaven and Madison Heights started hearing something strange. A low-frequency hum, deep, mechanical, and constant. It wasn't loud, but it was persistent. It vibrated through walls, rattled windows, and kept people awake at night. And here's the strangest part. Everyone heard it at the same time. On June 8th, over 300 residents called the Pasadena Police Department within a 2-hour window, all reporting the same sound. The hum started at 11:47 p.m. and lasted for exactly 37 minutes. Then it stopped. The next night, it happened again. Same time, same duration, same sound. By the 3rd night, residents were recording it. Audio files were posted online. Acoustic engineers analyzed the recordings and identified the frequency as approximately 32 Ht, below the normal range of human hearing, but just high enough to be perceived as a vibration. One engineer, Dr. Lisa Tran from Caltech, examined the recordings and said, "This isn't random noise. The frequency is too consistent. The timing is too precise. Something is generating the sound intentionally." The Pasadena Police Department launched an investigation. They contacted Southern California Edison to check for electrical issues. They contacted the Water Department to check for pipeline vibrations. They contacted nearby construction sites to see if heavy equipment was running at night. Every possibility came back negative. No electrical faults, no pipeline issues, no construction. On June 15th, the police issued a statement acknowledging the hum, but stating they had no leads on the source. They recommended residents contact their homeowners associations if the sound persisted, but residents weren't satisfied. They organized a town hall meeting. Over 400 people attended. A representative from the police department was there. So was a representative from the mayor's office. One resident, Maria Delgado, stood up and asked directly, "If you don't know what's causing the sound, why aren't you investigating further?" The police representative responded, "We've investigated all reasonable possibilities. Without a clear source, there's nothing more we can do." Another resident asked, "Has anyone contacted the military? Edwards Air Force Base is 90 miles north. Could this be related to testing?" The mayor's representative said, "We have no information suggesting military involvement." The meeting ended without answers, but the hum continued. Every night, same time, same duration. For 3 more weeks. Then, on July 6th, it stopped. Just like the Mojave lights. Abruptly, completely. No explanation. When journalists followed up with the Pasadena Police Department, they were told, "The matter is closed." Closed how? No one would say. Mystery 3. The bodies in Malibu. Malibu's coastline is famous. Celebrities live there. Surfers flock to the beaches. It's one of the most photographed stretches of California. But in August 2024, something started washing ashore. Bodies. Not drowning victims. Not accidental deaths. Bodies with no obvious cause of death, no signs of trauma, and no identification. The first was discovered on August 12th near Point Dume. A man approximately 40 years old wearing street clothes, found lying face up on the sand. Lifeguards called the police. The body was taken to the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office. 3 days later, a second body was found at Zuma Beach. A woman, mid-30s, also in street clothes, also with no visible injuries. By the end of August, 5 bodies had been found along a 15-mile stretch of coastline. All adults, all dressed. None showing signs of drowning, assault, or illness. The coroner's office conducted autopsies. Toxicology came back negative. No drugs, no alcohol, no poison. The official cause of death for all 5 was listed as undetermined. Lifeguards and local residents started asking questions. How do 5 people die of unknown causes and wash ashore in the same area within 3 weeks? One lifeguard, Kevin Torres, told a local reporter, "I've been working these beaches for 12 years. I've seen drownings. I've seen suicides. I've seen overdoses. This isn't any of those." These people look like they just stopped. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department opened an investigation. They checked missing persons reports. They interviewed families. They reviewed security footage from nearby businesses. Nothing connected the victims. Different ages, different backgrounds, no shared locations, no mutual contacts. On September 10th, the Sheriff's Department held a press conference. They stated that the deaths were not being treated as suspicious and that there was no evidence of foul play. A reporter asked, "If there's no evidence of foul play, what killed them?" The sheriff's spokesperson replied, "The cause of death remains under investigation." Another reporter asked, "Are there any leads? We are pursuing all available information," but no further updates were ever released, and in mid-September, the bodies stopped appearing. When a journalist from the Los Angeles Times tried to follow up with the coroner's office, they were told the case files were sealed pending further review. Sealed by whom? For what reason? No one would clarify. Mystery 4. The mass bird die-off in Sacramento. Sacramento sits inland, along the Sacramento River. It's California's capital, a city of government buildings, parks, and tree-lined neighborhoods. In October 2024, residents woke up to find thousands of dead birds scattered across streets, lawns, and parking lots. Not just a few. Thousands. Crows, sparrows, starlings, and pigeons, all dead, with no visible injuries. The die-off occurred overnight on October 3rd. By morning, city workers were collecting the bodies. Environmental health officials were called in to investigate. Initial tests ruled out avian flu, West Nile virus, and poisoning. The birds showed no signs of disease, no toxins in their systems, and no physical trauma. They had simply died. Dr. Angela Reyes, a veterinarian from UC Davis, who examined several of the birds, said in an interview, their organs looked normal. Their feathers were intact. There was no indication of what killed them. It's as if they all stopped mid-flight. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife launched an investigation. They collected samples. They tested the air, the water, and the soil. Everything came back normal. On October 10th, the department released a statement saying the die-off was an isolated incident and that there was no ongoing threat to public health. But residents weren't reassured. One man, Thomas Reed, recorded video of city workers loading garbage bags full of dead birds into trucks. He uploaded the video with the caption, "Why aren't they telling us what happened?" The video was viewed over 500,000 times before it was removed from the platform. The reason given was violation of community guidelines. Thomas tried to re-upload it. His account was suspended. When local news stations covered the story, they focused on reassurances from the health department. No mention of the unanswered questions. No interviews with concerned residents. Just official statements saying everything was fine. But in early November, another die-off occurred. This time in Fresno. Same pattern. Thousands of birds, no cause of death. No. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife did not issue a statement. Mystery 5. The Atascocita boom. Wait. Wrong location. Let me correct. Mystery 5. The Santa Clarita boom. Santa Clarita sits about 30 miles north of Los Angeles, nestled in the hills. It's a suburban community, quiet, family-oriented. But on November 19, 2024, at exactly 2:17 a.m., residents across the city were jolted awake by a sound, a boom. Loud enough to shake houses, deep enough to rattle car alarms, sharp enough to be heard across a 20-mile radius. Within minutes, social media exploded with reports. People described it as a bomb going off, like a semi-truck crashing into the house. Thunder, but too close, too sharp. The Los Angeles County Fire Department received hundreds of calls. Fire trucks were dispatched across the city. They searched for explosions, crashes, gas leaks, anything that could produce such a sound. They found nothing. No fires, no accidents, no structural damage. The next day, residents demanded answers. The fire department issued a statement saying they had thoroughly investigated and found no source for the sound. But seismologists at Caltech confirmed that their instruments had detected a low-frequency acoustic event at 2:17 a.m., originating somewhere over Santa Clarita. The event registered on seismic monitors but didn't match the signature of an earthquake, explosion, or sonic boom. Dr. Karen Mitchell, a seismologist who reviewed the data, said, "The acoustic signature is unusual. It's not consistent with known sources. It's almost like the sound came from the air itself, not from an impact or explosion." Residents speculated. Was it military testing? A meteor? A secret project? On November 22nd, a spokesperson from Edwards Air Force Base was asked if the military conducted any operations over Santa Clarita on the night of the 19th. The spokesperson said, "We have no record of any military flights or operations in that area on that date." A spokesperson from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory located nearby in Pasadena also denied any involvement. So what caused the boom? No one knows, and no one is investigating further. Mystery 6. The disappearance of hikers in Joshua Tree. Joshua Tree National Park is vast, over 790,000 acres of desert. rock formations, and iconic Joshua trees. It's a popular destination for hikers, climbers, and campers. But in December 2024, something started happening to people who ventured into the park's more remote areas. Between December 5th and December 18th, 7 hikers were reported missing. All experienced, all equipped with GPS, water, and emergency supplies. All vanished without a trace. The first was a solo hiker named Daniel Park, reported missing on December 5th. His car was found at a trailhead near Ryan Mountain. His GPS tracker showed he had hiked 430 miles into the park before the signal stopped. Search and rescue teams combed the area. Helicopters flew overhead. Drones scanned the terrain. No sign of Daniel. No backpack. No clothing. No footprints. The second disappearance occurred on December 9th. A couple, Sarah and Mark Lee, were hiking the Boy Scout Trail. Their GPS showed they were 6 miles in when their signals simultaneously went offline. Search teams found their water bottles at the 6-mile mark, sitting upright on a rock. No other trace. By December 18th, 7 people had disappeared, all in remote areas, all with GPS trackers that stopped transmitting at different locations, all with no physical evidence left behind. On December 20th, Joshua Tree National Park issued a statement advising visitors to exercise extreme caution and to stay on marked trails. But park rangers speaking off the record told a different story. One ranger who refused to give his name told a journalist, "We've been told not to talk about it. But something is happening out there. People aren't just getting lost, they're vanishing." Another ranger said, "The GPS signals don't just stop. They drop offline instantly. That's not normal. That's not equipment failure. That's something else." On December 28th, families of the missing held a press conference demanding answers. They called for a federal investigation. They called for transparency. They called for the park to be closed until the disappearances were solved. The National Park Service responded with a written statement. "We are conducting a thorough investigation. We are working with local and federal agencies. We urge patience as we pursue all leads. But as of now, no bodies have been found. No evidence has been recovered, and the park remains open." 6 mysteries. 6 places in California where something is happening that authorities acknowledge but won't explain. The Mojave lights moving in geometric formations, then vanishing without investigation. The Pasadena hum vibrating through homes every night at the same time, then stopping abruptly. The Malibu bodies washing ashore with no cause of death, then ceasing with sealed files. The Sacramento birds dying by the thousands with no explanation, then disappearing from the news. The Santa Clarita boom shaking the city with no identified source. And the Joshua Tree hikers vanishing with their GPS signals cutting off simultaneously. Some of these might be explained. Equipment failures, natural phenomena, coincidences. But all of them, in one state, in 1 year, with authorities closing investigations before answers are found? If you've made it this far, thank you. Leave a like if one of these stories stayed with you. Tell us which one disturbed you most, and which we should investigate further. But remember, some things don't stop happening just because they stop being reported.